Hey there, guys. It's Jeremy. I just want to share one of my out of body experiences. I guess you can also call it an astral projection. But there are different types of astral projections. The type I had was a real time out of body projection. So basically, with the real time out of body projection, you are transferring consciousness into your etheric body, which is the next layer out, and more or less traveling through 4D space. So you're kind of like a ghost, observing and interacting with the 3D plane. In most cases, people who are just awake in the third dimension can't really notice or see or hear etheric, beings or bodies doing their thing. But sometimes people are sensitive to it, so they sometimes can feel a presence without any doubt. You can feel a presence, and some people can even see. Just see auras better, that kind of thing. So some people have heard or seen etheric bodies. Okay, moving along with my story here. I was really tired one afternoon. It was about right before 2 p.m. This actually happened 15 years ago. So I was just 25 back then. And I lay down on the couch in the living room, just taking a just with the intention of just taking maybe a 30-minute nap or maybe 1 hour nap. And I lay down and kind of noticed how I was in that perfect meditation phase where my body was kind of tired, my brain was kind of falling asleep, but for whatever reason in that moment I was still very mentally alert. My consciousness was just awake and alert at the time. So I just decided to do a more or less a meditation exercise. One of the components to my own meditation technique is the breathing exercise, which is one of the most important aspects. And so I just did my normal breathing technique. And after a few minutes, I found myself leaving the physical form, transferring consciousness into etheric body. And I didn't really have like an overall plan or overall intention to what I wanted to do with my projection. But I guess in that second, as that was happening, I was maybe missing my dad because I live over 1,000 miles away from my dad. So I only see him maybe once a year, a couple times a year at the most. So at the moment, I was probably just kind of missing him on a subconscious level. And so it kind of assisted in my mental intentions and in my projection. Within a few seconds, I zapped over to his house, and I was in the dining room. There was nobody around. I kept walking. I went past the kitchen, and then the clock on the oven said like 2:03 p.m. or whatever it was. So right around 2 p.m. as I was doing my nap, which turned into the meditation. So as I was walking through the house, I still noticed nobody in the house. And then I heard a noise on the side of the house. Now, again, this is while I'm in my etheric body. I go through the door, literally just walk through it. I didn't open it. And I went to the side of the house, and then I saw my dad working on the gate. There used to be a really old wooden gate that was there for many years. And so at first glance, I could see that he was taking apart the wood, tearing it down, and he had preset a bunch of small concrete blocks to redo the fence with concrete blocks. So I was looking at that, and then as I was observing him, I remember touching the stucco. His house is in California. A lot of stucco sightings down there, and so I was feeling the stucco with my etheric hand. feeling the texture, feeling how solid it was. But at the same time, with mental intention, putting my etheric hand through the stucco, through the wall, about a foot or two into the wall, my whole arm, and then bringing it back out. And you can kind of feel the density. The only thing is that your etheric body, it's so much less dense than the physicalities of the human body or a real wall or a table in the third dimension. So since you're a higher frequency, less dense, you can more or less walk through walls and float through ceilings and walk through doors without opening them. I remember going up to him and giving him a really big, loving hug, which was actually for a pretty good duration of time. I really gave him a good hug, and I told him I loved him. It was a really, really great little moment, and for kind of a second there, it almost seemed like he had felt that, because he kind of paused what he was doing for a couple seconds and kind of looked around as if he was feeling something. So that was an interesting observation. So I left him alone, and he went back to work on the fence. And I remember walking down the driveway, going down the street, and it was, again, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, sunny sky, and I remember looking up at the sky, up at the sky, and noticing that I could see the planets and the constellations and the stars and the galaxies and all kinds of stuff. But during the day, though. So that was also a very interesting observation. And then I went off to do a bunch of stuff that I will keep private. So sometimes, there's no point in sharing every detail, But I wanted to share that experience with my dad. And then, meditation over, a few days went by, and my younger brother, called me just randomly, and we were just chatting for a few minutes, and he had he mentions something about my dad having a project on the side of the house and redoing the gate, and him going over there to help him with some of the concrete blocks to move them, put them in place, and kind of help him wrap up the project and wrap the gate up. And he just told me that. I had no idea that my dad was redoing the gate on the side of the house, okay? And I didn't talk to my dad for maybe a few weeks on the phone prior to that meditation and astral projection, etheric body experience, and giving him the hug and seeing him working on the gate, all that kind of stuff. So it didn't dawn on me in that second when he said that. It didn't dawn on me. But then, as I hung the phone up with him a few minutes after that, I remember then I realized that I had just had that out-of-body experience where I saw him doing that, and I didn't know he was doing it. And so my experience, my out-of-body experience, is a classic example of a self-confirmed experience. It was self-confirmed by a third party, which would be my younger brother. And, I had no clue my dad was doing what he was doing. And I projected in real time, and saw what he was doing as I was meditating. And so I've had, dozens, several, if not a dozen, self-confirmational experiences since I've been a teenager. So, but that's one of the coolest ones when it comes to something that's confirmed. And every time those types of experiences happen with the confirmational aspects, it kept reminding me of just how amazing this is, and how consciousness is so mind-boggling. And let's get more into these things. And that's the goal of this channel. Please subscribe. Please share. Have a wonderful day. Peace.